Today we'll be sitting in a class with one of the great Moorish teachers of all time. So without further ado, let's see what she has to offer us.
That's why you have charts and everything, so you can have pictorials. If I had a network, man, y'all would be really... Anyway, when you think about the birth certificate, social security card, so you think about that those two things taken together represent an account called the straw man account.
Say what?
Now that account was established fraudulently. All of it is fraudulent because you didn't give them access to do this stuff. But that never still, because mommy was ignorant, when that so-called birth certificate and social security card came in the mail, she started using it. And not only did she start using it, she was going to different corporations. Like, let's say, for instance, she needed to apply for health insurance. She thought she needed to apply for health insurance, even though her baby was born healthy. She needed to apply for health insurance. So she went down to a corporation that got established and said, look, we'll give you health insurance. You don't have to have anything. All you need to do is sign this contract, which is called an application, right? So mom, when you were a little witty bitty baby, and this was actually during the so-called wellness visits, this is all happening before the baby's even coming here. It's just once the baby gets here, now she's going to sign that baby's social security number, and that baby's, not even that baby's, the straw man's, because keep in mind, those are two different entities. One is a natural being, and the other one is a straw man, right?
Wrong.
So when she goes to a health service, a health corporation, she signs a document, she puts the straw man on there by way through the nom de guerre name and the social security number, as well as the signature. So all they needed was name, which is why they always ask you that. What's the things they ask you? Name. What else do they ask you? Address. Well, address is involved. What else? Born date. Social security number. What else? What's the most important part on there? Because those are just how to identify the corporation, how to debit it, how to credit it, debit and credit it, right? So the next thing they ask for is an autograph. Autograph, because they need the authorized representative of that so-called straw man, because that's who you are. Because why are you the authorized representative of that straw man? Why are you the authorized representative of that straw man? Why are you the authorized representative of that straw man? Huh? Why are you the authorized representative of the straw man?
I don't know, lady. Why don't you just tell us already? We don't have the answers. We're here to learn from you. So just teach us. Stop asking us all these questions that you know we don't know the answers to. You're the guru. So get to it.
Huh? Because you created it. You created the corporation and you didn't know that's what you did. Not you. Your mama. Mama created it, and you've been running around as the authorized representative of that corporation, which will never be able to be established without your consent and your continued signing off for it, right?
Now, all of that garbage that she just taught is the exact stuff that this Moorish sovereign right here, Sharon Tracey Gale, was taught and tried to apply in her real life and wind up getting her child taken from her. It is from teachers like her. This woman is ruining people's lives, selling them all of this nonsense, talking about accounts and signatures and authorized users. As you can see, she's out there teaching a class. I wouldn't be surprised if Sharon Tracey Gale was sitting in the class that day. So we know for 100% fact that the stuff that this lady, Sharon Tracey Gale, is teaching is garbage. It will ruin your life. Don't listen to it. Sharon Tracey Gale lost her baby because of this garbage, this nonsense that this lady is teaching. This is absolutely ridiculous. She's out in the park teaching a class full of Moorish men and women, and this stuff will only eventually ruin their lives the way it ruined this young lady's life, Shade Renee L. Another thing I must add, when Shade Renee L was going through all of her legal problems, her grandmaster teacher, Sharon Tracey Gale, was not there to help her. She teaches the nonsense, but after that, you're on your own. So don't think that these teachers are out here, they're going to help you when you get into legal situations. They will not. They will teach you the nonsense and then look the other way.
So what happens when you sign an application for health benefits for, let's say, Blue Cross? What does Blue Cross do? How? Because it ain't about just saying that. It's about knowing what they're doing. Huh? So when they get your application, that says one blaring thing. It says, I give you authorization to tap into this account and do what you want. You literally gave them authorization through, because you're the authorized. If that don't stop, all of a sudden, some people need to realize it's too hot for them to be outside. They ain't stay the heck inside. Some people need to realize that. Say it again?
I'm not understanding. I'm trying to understand.
You're trying to comprehend.
Yes. This account, this statement, how do they have access to it, and where is it? And
That's what we talk about today, baby.
And how do we access it instead of them access?
That's what we talking about today, baby.
No, I understand, but
You want me to?
I've been studying for a while. I just don't understand.
I know it takes a while because it's building blocks.
Okay.
It's building blocks, and always realize that the grid is for you. They know what hell they doing. I ain't talking about let's say the Irish, or the low man on the low totem pole, the pawns that they use like for their so-called human trafficking corporations called police departments or sheriff's departments or code enforcers. We're not talking about them because they don't know nothing. Their job is to do what their jobs are to do, and they don't get those types of competency trainings to know what's really going on. They don't know. Ignorance of the law does not give you an excuse for violating it. If it holds true to us, it holds true to them. But the point that I was trying to make was, if you're the authorized representative of that straw because you established it, even though they did the trickery creating it, they need you to get into it. They're blocked out if you don't authorize anything. That's why it's so important for them to create so many ways through code, statutes, and ordinances, and what's the other ones? Code, statutes, ordinances, color of law, to get you to sign so they can tap into your state, because they're boxed out. They've racked up a whole lot of debt through those nom de guerre accounts, and that's where they use the accusant number. And I'm going to have a very detailed class because I'm still in the research phase, because I want to put this in layman's terms for you so you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. Why the so-called, I'm going to read it again. Accusant. What the hell? I'm going to read it again. Moors, their fake courts, color of law, are human trafficking corporations, and they use codes, statutes, regulations, and ordinances to determine what they need from you as a creditor, executor, beneficiary, and heirs to balance their books and settle their debt. So realize that whole infrastructure was created on fraud, so you don't want to grab a hold of a straw man that can never be touched. Why can't the straw man be touched, y'all?
It doesn't exist.
It don't exist. You said bankrupt? No, you don't try to fix it. Bankrupt. It's bankrupt, but it don't exist. So you're trying to capture something that don't even exist. You're the authorized representative of it because you had to have manifested for it to be created. Because what is it really doing? What is the straw man really doing? Is what? Say again. No, I'm being in layman's terms. What is it doing? What is the straw man doing that y'all want to do? Huh? Huh? Your straw man is administering your estate. So either the straw man gonna do it or you gonna do it, but you can't do it through the straw man because you are not the straw man. You're not the straw man. You're supposed to get rid of the straw man and be yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, ma'am, I do not understand what you're saying. But maybe, being that this is my first class with you, I'm going to have to spend a couple of more $1,000 to sit into some of your other classes, and then maybe I'll understand. Because right now, I have not a clue at what you are talking about. All of it sounds 100% made up.
So, you don't need to authenticate a fraud. The authentication of it is the fact that you got a certificate of what you have a certificate and you got a social security card. That is all the so-called authenticating you need. You don't even need to authenticate it. The fact that you have it is proof that it exists. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? It's hot. So the point I'm trying to make, if you're the authorized representative, meaning it only exists because of you, and can't nobody mess with it unless you sign in contract with them, you already are administering your estate. Do you realize that? You're not getting a benefit from it because it's a system that was built to circumvent you. It wasn't built for you to get anything out of it because the whole infrastructure was to hypothecate your estate and to take what's yours so they can have their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and pass on all their debt to you that they've established, but none of which they could do. Why do you think the liens is hurting them so bad? Why is the liens hurting them so bad? Answer this question. Why is the liens hurting them so bad? Why?
You can't do anything without a company unless you take care of the lien.
That's partly, you can't do anything without it until you take care of the lien. I can't hear you. They have nothing to fall back on. How? Huh? Why can we lien and shut them down by one affidavit called a Universal Commercial Code Financing Statement? Why can we do that?
Because we're the creditor.
Because we're the creditor, we're sovereign. We're the creditors and we're the sovereigns.
And we got the secure party interest through the treaty.
And we got the secure party interest through the treaty. You getting there? And they wouldn't exist. If the straw man didn't exist, none of the corporations would exist either. So they're a yin-yang relationship. And if you've established it, you can also do what? Get rid of it. Do you realize how mad they are because of that? So they can sit here and try to sit here and act like, oh, I don't recognize you, or I don't do this, I don't do that. Because what is really running everything? Credit. Who got the credit? Who has the credit? Who's using the credit? So when you shut them down with a UCC1 lien, what that do? That take what? An A1 credit down to what? And what does the so-called debtors, or I'm sorry, the individuals who are holding the bonds and stuff, what are they doing? They say, oh, the Moors done need their ass. Let me go get my shit.
Just start liquidating.
So even though it takes 90 days for the liens to mature, once they get witness, once the world sees that these liens is coming, they start taking their stuff immediately. Why? Why are they doing that, y'all? Why are they going and seizing up the stuff? Like the car conveyances the domiciles, the businesses, the supplies, the resources. Why they doing it, y'all? Why they coming and seizing it back up? It's a real one specific reason they're doing this. You know. Huh? Who's the first party creditor? So who, once that, yes, if we the first party credit holders, if we the first party secure creditors, can anybody else get anything? So all those so-called debts that never even existed or contracts, they ain't getting nothing. That's why they go run and take it less than 90 days. Because they like, wait a minute, if we don't get it now, we're not getting anything when that debt matures. So they start pulling out. That's just like if, let me put this in the layman's term. Say you owned Reebok. Oh no, I want to use something more specific. Why you gotta use Starbucks? Okay, say you own Starbucks. Let's say you own Starbucks, right? And Starbucks is operating, it's making finances, it's always in the red, because in the red is what? This is your debits and your credits, man. Your debits and your credits. What's a debit? What's a credit? Huh? A debt, you... a credit. So one is negative, one is alive, one is dead and alive. I'm just trying to get y'all to realize what's going on. So the point I'm saying is, if you own Starbucks and you always in the red, even though if you look at the books, they turn it around and make it seem like the debt is the credit and the credit is the debt, right? And even when I was in the county, I'm like, that don't make no damn sense. This was always the issue that I had. 20 years in a county like that don't even make sense, because the credit is supposed to be what increases you, not takes away. Credit increases, it doesn't take away. Debit decreases. And this is county 101. Yes? Yeah, they got 2 books. Of course they got 2 books. But here's the point I need you to understand. What's y'all looking at? The point I need you to understand. This point right here. Starbucks has in order in the books, you got to be in the black. But technically you're supposed to be in the red. So they flip it. Or they only show them one side of the book, right?
This lady is just running her mouth. She is just rambling on and on and on. And none of the stuff she's saying is even making any sense. I can't believe the people that she's teaching actually paid her to sit in this quote-unquote class. This is an absolute waste of fiat.
So when you're doing debits and credits, you got assets minus liability equal what? This is 101. Most people don't know 101. Most people don't know 101. 101 is this. Your assets minus your liabilities equals your equity. Right? Assets minus liabilities equals your equity. Right? Resources minus contractual obligations equal what you got left. Let's say it in layman's terms, right? You're the creditors. So you're the asset. The liability is who? Who the liability? Yeah, they the liability. But who trying to claim the equity? I'm just saying. We're going to put this full circle because this is so simple. It really is. We just been educated and don't have erudite knowledge, which is what we're supposed to have. Erudition, erudite. Tell me which one, because he says erudite. Islam. So, I'm painting it because I don't have my board. If I had my board, you'd really know what I'm talking about. All right. Starbucks is in the black, which means it's liquid, even though it's supposed to be in the red. It's liquid. But once it gets a lien, what happens? Once it gets a lien, because it's liquid, so corporations under the stock market say what? I like that company. It's doing good. I'm looking at its liquidity. I'm looking at its assets minus liabilities equals owner's equity. I'm looking at its viability. I'm looking at how long it's been in the red versus been in the black. I'm doing all these things. Oh, I like that company. I want to add to it. Become a shareholder, however, right? But we gotta look at Starbucks as being a corporation, but who owns Starbucks? Huh? Who owns Starbucks? Huh? Who are the shareholders? Are they? Who owns Starbucks? Huh? Magic Johnson owns Starbucks? But Magic Johnson is a nom de guerre. How Magic Johnson owns Starbucks?
Because he's rich and he had the fiat to invest in it.
Who owns Starbucks? How was Starbucks established? Right. So the Moors own Starbucks, right?
Wrong.
They are the owners. They are the creditors, executors of every corporation operating here at Morocco.
Wow, the land of make-believe.
Every last one. When Prophet Noble Drew Ali said you're wealthy, you're just plain wealthy, he wasn't being facetious. He was being actual factual. And because we're coming from enslavement and educational systems that only were supposed to teach you how to be a servant, you don't grasp that. They didn't teach you nothing. They didn't teach you etymology. They didn't even teach you real math, and they didn't really teach you finance. They have 2 to 3 websites called Fidelity.com and several others where they track your straw. They think it's their investment, but it's yours. You're the authorized representative. Right? So when Starbucks Starbucks got an A1 rating, meaning to have an A1 rating in corporate terms means you pay your bills and you pay them on time. That's what it means in the corporate world. So if you pay your bills and you pay it on time, you got an A1 credit, and you can verify that on the Dunes and Bradstreet. Because if you get an account on Dunes and Bradstreet, once I won't do, you'll see the viability of corporations, and you can tell based on the viability of corporations who got leaned or not, for real. Because once that lien, that A1 credit gone. It go from an A to a B to a C. Now ain't nobody lending you anything because everything is credit. Everything is credit. Ain't nothing actual factual money. It's credit, right? So when it goes down, now your suppliers won't give you a line to get resources. Now you gotta pay. Like, nah, you can't get no line of credit. You gotta get bread. But if you're living on a credit system, meaning you're paying as it comes in, because you can either be on a cash system or you can be on the accrual system, meaning you don't count something until you receive it, or you count something when it's promised. That's the difference. It's very simple. What point am I trying to make? When the credit rating goes down, they lose viability. People will not lend to them anymore. Therefore, they can't fill their shelves. Therefore, they can't pay their people, because now they're living on a serious so-called cash basis. So-called cash basis, right? What am I saying? So they had to come up with a system. How the hell do we keep getting signatures so we can keep getting access to this system? How do we keep getting signatures? How do we keep getting the authorized representatives that's running around acting like monkeys flying from trees? How do we get them to sign more consistently? How do we do that? What are some of the ways we do that? What are some ways they do that? Huh? Fear? But what's the fear? What backs the fear? Codes, ordinance, and codes, ordinance, regulations. So all those codes are attached with a number. And all those numbers, think about it in terms of inventory. If you got pencils, them pencils is going to have a specific number. And that specific number is going to let you know how much those pencils are in raw cost. Same too with codes and statutes. So say, for instance, the nom de guerre Sharon Gale got codes and statutes for reckless endangerment. And then you list it down. So the more codes, the more finance they're trying to get out your estate. Can't get access to it unless you give it to them. And the access is through jurisdiction. So when they try to find a reason to bring you in, try to find any kind of reason to bring you in, it's because they want to balance their books. Ain't got nothing to do with no law. Ain't got nothing to do with no you breaking or violating or injuring somebody. That's why when you sit here and go in there and say corpus delicti, where's the injured party? They looking at you like, I'm just trying to get some fiat. They ain't gonna say that. They gonna say, what's your name? You're waiving your right to an attorney? No, you can't. You have to get an attorney. Because what does a turner do? What is the first duty of an attorney? So what? Jurisdiction. Right?
Make sure award of the court instead of the state. And give up your title to the attorney.
Right.
He sells the title.
His job is to turn you over to the court.
And he gets a kickback.
His job is to turn you over to the corporation that gave him the license to do it. Do you see the ridiculousness of how we never even thought of these things?
Wow. I wonder why I never thought of that.
They're licensed by the same so-called corporate state that's violating you through the nom de guerre. And you think it's personal. It's not personal, it's business. You've been agreeing to be the business for 100 years. Stop agreeing to be the business, right? So all those codes add up to specific tickets. So guess what happens? They create that whole so-called ticket is a what? What is it? What is it? It's a who? It's a bill, but more importantly, it's a bond. Right? They're trying to get somebody to buy the bond. Right? And it's being, huh?
The bond, and then China want to bring their army in and take over where they pay these bonds.
China can only take over nom de guerre's wards that are attached to whatever corporation that's insolvent.
This lady is literally just making things up as she goes along. She's very creative with her nonsense.
So let's take Pennsylvania Corporation. They got lean about 3, 4, 5 months ago, right? So now they probably on the open market, like, who's going to take this off of our hands? Who's going to take it? Whoever takes it is now your master if you are under that service corporation. Literally. And they start just taking stuff from you. Literally. How many people know of a person that is going through a so-called foreclosure, going through a so-called unlawful case through this human trafficking facility that y'all think is law and government? It ain't got nothing to do with that. And you need to call them what they are and do with what they dealing with and realize that all you got to do is state the mantra jurisdiction that they can't touch nothing. But they're going to continue to say, oh, we're going to hold you in contempt. Well, they're in contempt. That's why you stand on the mantra, and that's why you do the grid. The grid is for your salvation, so you know what's going on. Because the next phase is going to be, it builds. Just like when Moses was in the wilderness, he had to wait 2 generations. Y'all the generation of liberation. Literally, that's today. That's not 20 years ago. That's not 30 years ago. That's today. Their system is already gone. It's just right now, like, when you pull the stopper out of a drain, some shit down there stuck at the drain. What's the shit down there stuck at the drain? Those Negro colored and black motherfuckers, as well as those Albions claiming to be white persons stuck at the damn drain, trying to make that shit go down slow. Excuse my French. They stuck down there. But what they doing while they stuck down there? Drowning. But the water's still going down. Because guess what happens after a while? You get something, you start sticking them. Get the hell down that drain. That's what's going on right now. They got to pick a side. Either you want to swim to the top and get the hell out the water, or you're going to go down with the ship. It's all building. Don't get upset about words, because the words you think mean something that creates an emotional situation doesn't even mean what you think it means. So get some knowledge so we can stop getting in our feelings. Because grown people can deal with stuff. Babies get emotional about everything, that's including words. But you're not emotional about the human trafficking of your families, not your families, your tribes and heirs for 3 to 4 to 5 generations. So let's get out our feelings. So if what they're doing is human trafficking you, do they care about law? Do they care about Sarah's society? What do they care about? Equity. What do they care about? You giving, as the authorized representative, giving them access to eat some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And to stay in the red, even though they try to act like the black.
American Council.
Say it again?
Suppose the house is one of the column at the Moorish American Council.
There's only two people that's going to that's going to domicile here. Most nationals we have treaties with, and subjects. And subjects are those who don't have a nationality or a place that they can call home outside of here. So Albions that want to live under peace, under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, they got to get subject status. And just like the expatriation document says, we don't have no citizenship laws. There's no such thing as naturalization here. There's either you're a Moor or you're a subject. You're a Moor or you're a subject. Those are the two things that you have. Literally.
Okay, so in her fantasy world, I guess I'm a subject. Because I'm definitely not no more. Gotta be kidding me.
And the people lost their status by doing what? How did the people lose their status? By doing what? Huh? By naturalizing. That whole system is like naturalizing into a system, like being orphaned in. Like they're orphaned into a corporate state that can't even naturalize you because they exist on paper. And this is part of the ignorance. And not ignorance or incompetence. It's not to say that you're this horrible person. It's just that you weren't raised to learn anything because of the systems that we went to that thought we've arrived, let's say. So we know those. So when you know that the human trafficking centers are looking to administer your estate or sell their books, what you do? What do you do? What is your remedy? You can't hear me? Oh, with all the noise? I know, it's all of a sudden so noisy. It's a Sunday, right? You would think everybody be home making dinner or something and watching Simpsons. Don't the Simpsons come on Sundays? I'm just saying. So when you go into those tribunals, stop thinking that you're going to talk subject matter. Because subject matters are for subjects, and more than that, it ain't about their code, statute, and ordinances. That's all that they created to fool you into thinking one way when it's completely another way. That whole infrastructure, the entire infrastructure, were to steal your birthright and to steal your stuff and find a way to get you to be complicit in it. So when you say, my name is, my address is, here's my birth name, and you sign, well, you just gave them authorization. And they don't have to be fair to you because you've now admitted that you are cattle. Your property, and no nation and no law treats to you. So now they can just push you around like cattle, which is what they do. So we need to get out of our minds that you're gonna sit there and go in there and be like, well, based on PA code, and they looking at you like, either you're going to be yourself or you're going to be this ward, but you can't sit here and try to be both. You're a national talking codes and statutes. Well, based on the civil procedures, you're supposed to have this by, because you'll get a favorable reply, because all Albions and all Europeans are not your enemy. Some of them are happy to see you come out of the darkness. They're happy, some of them. That's the ones that give you a favorable reply, most likely are the ones that's happy to see you come out of the dark. Huh? They better pick the right side. There's only one side. They ain't got no side. The ones that are helping, the ones that in secret, because they are under a hegemony. They're under unum sanctum. They're under King Alfred plan. They're under all of that. They can't tell you out front, I dismiss for lack of jurisdiction. I don't have jurisdiction. They'll never, They took an oath. They're like, damned if they do, damned if they don't. But you gotta know the damn sign. And who know the sign? The Masons do. Huh? Yeah, but they put it in the movies and television. You don't know what it means.
gotta get him 50%. That's that.
Some of them will call you into their private chambers and say, you're doing a great job. They're scared. Keep doing what you're doing. They're telling you. The articles is telling you too. Y'all think they're going to sit here and say, oh my God, the Moors did another lien and killed 3, 4, 5 other corporations. Why they ain't going to do that? Why are they not going to do that to you? Why? Huh? Because then all of a sudden everybody want to be a Moor, right? For the benefit. For the benefit, right? Not because they want to get out of slavery and stop enslaving their babies and all that. Probably because they want a damn, what's the popular cars? A Mercedes. It could be something basic like that. Because most people, I remember more saying, the people need to see. The people need to see. So I translate that to be, the people need to see the benefit to be a Moor before they start acting in that capacity. Well, if you need to see a benefit to be yourself, then how about you stay over there and play in the sandbox? Because they're not going to show you it. And they're not going to show it you on purpose. Because not only should the Asiatics get in here and be in solidarity with their brothers and sisters, they should be doing that just because they ain't living no luxurious life, but also because I'll be honest, violent, because they do come from an animal, and as soon as we stop tiptoeing around that, you'll be all right. And realities are, you got to deal with everything. We created them, that's why they subject. They don't have a nationality, that's why they subject. They don't have status and standing, that's why they subject. Because a nigga is a what? A RH positive, blood type, huh? And we can sit here and keep playing about this all the time. Watch the Island of Dr. Monroe. They make a whole bunch of Frankenstein. They make a whole bunch of movies showing you that they were created in a lab. That's why they don't have descendability. That's why they don't have nationality. And that's why they're subject no matter what landmass they own. Don't matter which one. Huh? Yeah. Some of them have that. Slav. Yep. That's their pedigree. Well, descendability. What? What's it called? SOVCIT Grill? Is that a restaurant? Have you eaten there yet? You might be eating. You might be eating your brother, shucks. Slave food, shucks. We've been eating a lot of that. When we was babies, Aneb he's just so higher in the. I don't eat that type of stuff. Where you go? I was looking under the Fidelity website. I was looking at the Fidelity website, and if you put the straw man, not the straw man, if you put the but the QSIP number is not the so-called the born name or the birth certificate number and the social security number. And then they translate that because they knew the Moors was going to wake up, so they didn't want to make it so obvious. So there's a QSIP number that is attached to those two things. You got to find out what that QSIP number is. And then you'll find out how much they getting out of your estate. And that would be like, for instance, I looked up somebody's, and that was 47 million a day. A day. A day. A day. 47 million. Depending on if you are heiress or a son or your pedigree, it does determine, has a factor. And keep in mind, we're talking about just credit. You just got credit, and those numbers really don't mean much. All of it is. Where'd he go? Where'd Mr. Man go? Sure you want me to be drinking that milk? Am I about to die? Sorry, let me shut up. The social without the dashes? I'm doing it.
Okay, so at this point, her mic went mute, and I guess we could be thankful for that because she was teaching a bunch of nonsense anyway. So this is our first class with Sharon, and we'll be taking some more classes with her. I just wonder how much she actually charged people to sit in on this nonsense, because this was absolutely ridiculous. Everything she said was absolutely fraudulent, and people are really listening to her and taking her advice with all of this crap that she teaches. She's the reason why people are losing their homes and their children and things of that nature. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.